What is happening? AJ Gaming Dude here, and are you guys excited for Marathon or hell, Destiny 2's The Final Shape expansion? Now, the reason why I'm actually talking about this is supposedly because of the shakeup so Bungie is going to go through some sort of insane shakeup from what we're aware, and it looks like that's kind of the feeling that people have internally at the moment, making Marathon into an extraction shooter, having Destiny 2's The Final Shape be the final expansion to this whole sort of light versus darkness story, though I feel like Endwalker was so much better well received in regards to its light versus dark sort of story that they've been touting for since 2011, which then ended a few years ago, I want to say, whenever Endwalker came out, pretty much. In saying that though, it looks like there's apparently some anxiousness or anxiety going around in Bungie, because it seems that people are going to be it hasn't been confirmed that people are going to be laid off after the Final Shape is done. It's just that everything that's happening in terms of costs, money being spent, people who are on the project, how many people there are on the project, it seems that people internally believe that something clearly doesn't make sense regarding all of this being put together. And so the general consensus, at least from the people that the writer of this article, Rebecca Valentine, who, at least if nothing else, I know she does some really good reporting, even if quite a lot of IGN doesn't really, but at least she certainly does. She's spoken to a few people at Bungie, and internally it seems like that a lot of money is being spent on people, and there's a lot of people in the studio that are working, and they feel like that if they were to put The Final Shape out, it would not sell enough to allow everyone to stay within the company and then move them on to Marathon. Because the thing is that if The Final Shape doesn't sell enough, that people are going to end up losing their jobs and things like that, before whoever is left remaining is then going to move on to Marathon and then help finish that game. Of course, Marathon being an old Bungie IP that is being redone or changing its spirit closer to that of an extraction shooter. However, extraction shooters have since come and gone through the industry, and so having another one in the form of Marathon might not do people much in the way of favors, especially when Sony does actually have another live service in the works called Fair Games that's supposed to be in a similar vein almost. With that being said though, it's interesting how people have said that, at least within the studio, that it just doesn't make sense. Where's the quote? Because I definitely saw the quote here, but I forgot to highlight it myself. Somewhere around here. Here we go. So, one person with knowledge of budgets at Bungie told me that nothing adds up and something will need to happen to curb the cost unless The Final Shape does so well to cover the gap and people can move over to Marathon. That's the thing that I was mentioning earlier, is that unless it sells amazingly well, it's highly unlikely that people are actually going to remain and keep their jobs. However, the thing is that it's worth keeping in mind that from the point of view of the Destiny community, effectively, people have very little confidence in Bungie to be able to actually deliver. So, if people don't have confidence that they're going to deliver and they under-deliver, they're not going to over-deliver by losing more people ultimately. And that's one of the things that has been happening throughout the industry that I've never truly understood, is like, if you're wanting to make more money by selling something to more people, how do you do that with as much quality as well, and then you're just laying people off? Sure, laying people off, you'll make more money if you sell the same amount, but that same quality isn't going to be there though. In fact, that might actually drop because again, it very much feels like a you get what you pay for type of situation or circumstance here. It's difficult to kind of really be able to truly justify something like that. But with the amount of insane downsizing that's been going on in the industry, I haven't heard too much about more studio closures, at least recently. I think the last one that I knew about was London studios being shut down, which kind of sucks because they worked on PSVR games, and of course PlayStation is like moving away from VR, which sucks and is really unfortunate. There's only so many PSVR 2 games out there, to be honest. But yeah, and I feel like I can't help but think that Sony has some amount of buyer's remorse regarding buying Bungie. Because Bungie could have been so good had they, weirdly enough, maybe stayed under Activision. I think after they left, that's when Destiny got significantly worse. At least that's what I've been seeing and believing. I've only played Destiny 1. I platinumed it and never want to go back because I hate Destiny, the original, because it hates me, because I want to play solo but the game won't let me. Something like Warframe allows me to play solo and be able to do the game, like a significant amount of the game, fairly well. And if I did want someone to jump in, it's free to play and I don't need to worry too much about it. Whereas Destiny originally was a game you need to pay for, and the same with Destiny 2 before that game went free to play. But even so, like, the microtransactions are nowhere near as bad, and you don't feel like you have to get them as long as you play the game diligently, learn mechanics, and just play through it. Really, like, ultimately you wouldn't need to go that far. It's just a shortcut if you want to take it in regards to Warframe. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of pain that Bungie is going to be going through, because it says right here that Sony officially acquired the studio mid-2022 with the promise it would largely retain a semblance of freedom as an independent subsidiary. While that's largely remained true, they've struggled to meet key financial targets, and Destiny 2 significantly underperformed last year. And I think last year is when they got what was that expansion called? Lightfall, and that was significantly unlike nobody in the very few people, not to say nobody, but very few parts of the Destiny community actually liked this particular expansion. And it's just, again, people didn't like it, didn't really move as much money, and it's just a lot that's been kind of going on since then. Sentiment towards Bungie has been pretty low, if not at an all-time low, if nothing else, which is unfortunate to see and hear. But yeah, it's just kind of sad, really. Let me know what you guys think about the situation in the comments below. I'd be interested to know, especially if you're playing Destiny 2, what are your thoughts? Because it doesn't matter where you are in Destiny 2, if you've just played it at all in the last few months, you know, please comment. The whole vaulting of content is probably one of those things that kind of hurts the game a lot, because as much as I want to jump into Destiny 2, I won't be able to play through the story because a lot of the story has now been vaulted, and I still don't even truly know what that means. Maybe it's been completely cut away from the game and no one can play it anymore, something like that. I don't truly understand it myself, but I might look it up after the fact. In saying that, like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I may move 200 subs by the end of the year, and I do want my videos to go out to more people. But with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.